Smartphones have transformed our lives, providing instant access to information and keeping us connected like never before. Now, while concerns exist about their impact on focus and stress, I will say it's important to note that studies have also shown positive effects. For instance, research suggests that moderate social media use can actually enhance feelings of social connectedness and support mental well-being, particularly during challenging times. My question is, so on the point of social connectedness, is that a false sense of reality? Like, do you actually feel more connected to your friends when you're on your smartphone, or just more connected to society when you're on your smartphone?
I feel more in the loop, but I feel a very big disconnect. I'm a pick up the phone and call, like I love vinyls and cassette tapes and old school analog. So I always get in trouble because people are like, you could just text me. No, I'm a call guy.
One thing that frustrates me a lot is, even as a business owner, as a young entrepreneur, I get really frustrated with the fact that sometimes in my mind, when I'm pitching somebody or something like that, I'll escape to an email or a text over a phone call.
Yeah.
But I think it's so easy to do because that's what our society has changed to. Like, everything is so digital now that
and
everybody
they make it okay.
resort to it. Yeah.
It's become the new norm, right? Like, nobody leaves voicemails anymore. It's all about efficiency and speed of sending a text, but it's very impersonal and it's very in your face because we expect a response right away.
Right.
I actually think it's a false sense of connectedness.
Yeah.
I really do, because try picking up a phone and making a phone call. Very few people can do it. And if you say to a student, can you go and ask this person to do something? They're like, in person?
Yeah.
Or, I asked my daughter, can you call the pizza place?
Can I ask you a question?
On the phone? You want me to make a personal phone call?
What about presentations? So you're in English, right?
That's a joke.
So did you notice when you were teaching 30 years ago that kids were not necessarily more inclined, but just more comfortable doing presentations in front of the classroom? Because I swear to you, I know people close to me that have panic attacks and will call in sick.
And a lot of the times, can I do it at lunchtime? Can I do it after school? Can I do it with just my peer at lunchtime or after school?
No, that happens to me even being in school. So many times I've shown up and no group members are there and I'm pitching it by myself.
Really?
Yeah. And it's all because of anxiety related to presentations.
Or try organizing your class and you've got like 5 periods to do these many seminars. And they're like, well, so-and-so didn't show up again. So-and-so didn't show up again.
Is that smartphones the problem, though? Let's take it back to smartphones. Are they causing that problem?
I think it's certainly enhancing anxiety in people that are, not used to this human connection anymore. We're all connected to our phones, not each other.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it's like the phone's the drug, but not the actual... I don't know, because there have been studies that basically say they can't actually directly tie a smartphone. Like the University of Toronto actually did this. They can't directly tie a smartphone to people not being able to remember stuff better. Because when they're told they have to memorize it, they'll memorize it. Instead, we just kind of use the smartphones to help us remember it.
Sure.
I think they're also shifting education a lot. Like, at least when I've been in elementary schools, now, like, anything that gives children anxiety, they want to avoid. Because they don't want kids to have that anxiety. But at the same time, if you don't try to teach them, they're always going to have that fear.
Yeah.
So that's not benefiting them.
Yes. Well, it's the same with like parents are saying, well, my son needs to have their phone in their class or my daughter because I have to call them.
Yeah.
Okay, now let me ask you guys this. Let's say you're a parent and you want to give your 16-year-old a smartphone. Can you sell me on why you would do that?
My thing would just be safety if they're walking home alone or something like that.
But they're 16. Like they're early teens,
right? There's no payphones anymore.
Or very rare in between.
Yeah, exactly. So my thing would be safety. If they're coming home and something happens, they need to get a hold of a parent. That's the biggest reason. Otherwise, it may not be a great reason, but the only reason is social media.
But I also think too, like, being in school, for me, obviously some kids abuse it, but I think that it has helped me in school because some textbooks are not that greatly laid out. So for understanding concepts and everything, I think it's been a great tool.
Trish, what do you find, like, as a teacher? Do you, like, I'm just thinking in my head, with ChatGPT coming out, or the ability to break things down further. I mean, even people thought, like math teachers, I can imagine, I remember not being allowed to use calculators in class. And I was always like, well, why? They're a tool, let's use it. Are smartphones the same as that?
Math teachers don't allow phones in their classroom. They're in the pockets because they need an actual good calculator. Well, my best friend is a math teacher. They go in the pockets.
Really?
No cell phones in math classes.
But why? Like,
because they're not a tool. Like,
do you find that they enable the student to not have to think?
They're just not a valuable tool in a math class because they're not going to give you the right tools to get what you need.
Like get the answer.
Correct.
One thing I'll say, and you know, in high school, because we're the same age, is I remember using smartphones to break down the problem for me, but then I would just write down the answer at the end of the day. And then I would just copy the show your work thing.
Yeah.
So I get it. Okay, we'll be right back with segment 4, where we're going to talk a little bit about solutions. We'll be right back.